Chapter 1. Humanity isn't equal or peaceful. That's the world Khan Popstar learned ever since he was little. 200 years ago, one night a young baby started to glow, which shocked their parents until they learned their baby had gained superpowers. However, that baby wasn't the only one. As like a virus, the entire world slowly started gaining superpowers out of nowhere, which to this day is never explained how it was possible. During the years of discovery about the random superpowers, or as they call them, quirks, most people has been using their quirks for selfish gain, and even overpowering the weak, until the government decided to create a new type of law enforcement called pro-heroes, a police force based off of superheroes from comic books who are legally allowed to use their quirks, provided they use it to protect others. However, what Khan realized that not all pro-heroes are there to protect everyone. It was a young afternoon where, inside a senior center for the elderly, a young lady with brown hair and green eyes was working at the kitchen as she's at the stands handing out dinner to the elderly in line. As the young lady hands it to one of the elderly, who is an elderly 77-years-old lady, she smiles. "Thank you, Jessica, your food is always the best to eat," said the elderly woman, making the young woman A.K. "Hey." Jessica giggle and wave it off. "Oh, you're too kind. Really, I'm just doing what I think it's best for you all," she said kindly with a smile. As she keeps handing out more food to the elders, her co-worker, a young teenage boy, seemingly involunteer. "Mrs. Popstar, I can take care of the rest, so you go find Khan," offered the teenage boy, but Jessica waves it off. "Don't worry about it. My baby is fine and I can see him still playing with Frank," she said, while looking over at a nearby table where a 4-year-old boy with brown with green streaks hair and yellow lion-like eyes is playing chess with Frank, who's an elderly 80-year-old man. As they play, Khan does his last move, and checkmate, said Khan with excitement and pride, winning the game, which made Frank not upset, but smile of not only the child's happiness, but also proud that he start to learn the game quick. "Very good, young man. It seems you are adapting to the game very well, hee. Who knows, maybe you'll become a great strategist in the future." This made Khan's eyes sparkle. "Oh, really, you think so, Frank?" Frank nods and shows him a few more tricks with the chess pieces. Yes, as a leader, you must always find a solution to multiple problems, like, for example, if there's a puzzle almost impossible to solve, find a workaround, a new plan to solve. Same rules goes for a leader if you found an obstacle in the way or an enemy in your path. Find a way to outsmart or come up with backup plans, Frank said, which Khan nods, listening to the wise words the old man said to him. "Ah, I get it. Then I won't let anyone get in my way then," Khan said with a determined grin, making Frank chuckle. Hey, with that determination, I feel like you could be a better hero than any of these new rookies can. Khan's eyes widened. "You really think I can become a hero? I mean, I was more thinking of a support hero." Frank shrugged. "Why not both use your intelligence to build gadgets for heroes or yourself to protect others? Just remember this, young man. The key to being one of the greatest leaders isn't how strong they are physically. It's about how strong they are mentally." Khan nods, and they are ready to play another game of chess. After a few minutes, Jessica's phone goes off, signaling the end of her workday. So as the last elderly got their food, she turns to the teenage boy. "Well, I have to get Khan home and ready for dinner. Can you take the rest of the day without me?" she asked. But the teenage boy nodded. "I got it covered, Mrs. Popstar. Please stay safe tonight," "We will," she said, while leaving the kitchen and approached Con as they're in the middle of a game. "Time to go home, sweetie," said Jessica while kneeling to her son, "but Con is playing chess. But, Mommy, I'm playing." Jessica pouts. "Sweetie, I know you get excited playing, but we must get home before Daddy gets home." Con pouts. "Don't worry, kiddo, we can continue next time," said Frank, making Con smile. "Really?" he said while bouncing on his seat, but Frank nods. "Thank you for keeping an eye on him, Frank," said Jessica as she picks Con up while Frank nods. "No problem, your boy really give me a challenge today, hee." Jessica giggles and walks off with Con, while Con waves at Frank, which he did the same. As they arrive at the parking lot, she opens the back seat to put Con on the children's seat. "And all set, my little cub?" asked Jessica, which Con nods with a smile. "Yes, Mommy." Jessica smiles and gives him a kiss on the cheek before closing the door. As she enters the driver's seat and starts the car. As she starts, she drives off and plays the radio with music, whilst Con looks out the window. When he looked, his smile grew as he watched pro-heroes stopping villains and walking around helping the people out. "Someday I'll be just like them, a leader who protects everyone," he thought, while Jessica drove to Tokyo, heading to their apartment. After some traffic problems with a recent hero fight, the two pop stars arrive outside of their apartment building and park the vehicle. After they park, they eventually enter the apartment, which was a cozy place to stay and live in. Con was about to walk to his room until his mother stopped him. "Not so fast, young man. You're going to help me cook tonight." Con slumps. "But Mommy, why do I have two?" he asked, but Jessica waves her finger at him. "Because sooner or later, when you grow up, you'll have to learn how to cook for yourself." She shrugs with a grin. "Besides, if being a hero doesn't work, then with Mommy's help, I can help you make a backup plan as a chef, right?" Despite not liking the idea, Con nods when she said backup plans. "Yes, Mommy, like Frank said, if I'm going to be a great leader, I must have other solutions to my problems." Jessica nods and smiles. "Good, now then, follow me to the kitchen, sweetie," she orders, which Con nod and follow her to the kitchen. Chapter 2. As they enter the kitchen, Jessica points at the fridge. "We're going to make curry tonight. I need you to grab me the ingredients we need. Do you remember what they are?" she asks as she's testing his memory, but Con nods and goes to the fridge and grabs some of the stuff. Next is to grab the other ingredients from the cabinets. Once he gathered them all, he used a stepladder to put the ingredients on the counter, making Jessica smile and caress his head. "Good job, little cub. Now watch Mommy use her magic," she said as she began to cook. While cooking the food, Con smiles in amazement at his mother's cooking skills until he hears the front door unlocking from a key, which already gives an idea to Con of who it is. So he gets off the stepladder and dashes towards the front door while the door slowly opens. As it opens, a man who had an appearance of a humanoid lion with green fur and wearing a pro-hero costume. The man smiles, seeing Con. "Daddy, you're home," yelled Con while bouncing on his heels, which made the humanoid lion chuckle and pick Con up. "Ah, there's my little cub. How was at the center? Did you help your mother a lot?" asked the man, aka AOI Popstar. Con nods rapidly. "Yeah, I mostly helped her with cleanup, and I even beat Frank in a game of chess." AOI's eyes widen in amazement of his child's accomplishment. "Oh, really? Look at you, my little genius. Chess is a hard game to play, but it looks like you can handle it. Hey, keep it up and maybe you'll go to school early." Con raised his fist in the air, Yes, and he'll become a hero like you in no time. She laughs hardly at his child's determination while he hears his wife giggling while walking towards them. Well, I was wondering what the commotion was all about. Welcome home, dear. Were there any villain problems? Asked Jessica, but AOI shrugs. It was a very slow day. Not a lot of dangerous villains, just mostly thieves. He sniffed the air, smelling the curry. Your famous curry. I can already smell it. Jessica giggles to that. Well, we just started cooking and Khan was helping me out now, would you mind? I might need my little assistant back to help, she said with a wink, which AOI nods. Then puts Khan down. Then I won't keep you from cooking. You heard your mother, little cub. Hearing this made Khan pout. But Daddy, do I have two? He asked, but AOI crossed his arms. Go do what your mother says, please, he ordered, which made Khan slump and nod. Yes, sir, he said, while following his mother to the kitchen again. AOI sighs and goes to sit down on the living room couch, relaxing his muscles. Meanwhile, across the apartment building on a rooftop, a man in a suit with white hair and evil eyes glares at the apartment window. Sometime later, after dinner, Jessica carries a sleeping Khan to his room and puts him down on his bed, Mommy the child, whisper in his sleep, causing Jessica to smile and kiss his forehead while tugging him to bed. It's okay, sweetie, Mommy isn't going anywhere, you're safe, she said, which seems to calm the sleeping boy. With satisfaction, she leaves the room and slowly closes the door. After she puts Khan to bed, she walks up to the living room couch, where AOI is, as he has already put on casual clothes. Jessica sits down beside AOI as he wraps an arm around her, cuddling with her. Is something the matter? AOI asked, but Jessica shrugged. It's just been a long day and he's getting smarter. I mean, puzzle solving and now chess-ahi. It's kinda scary how smart he'll become. AOI smiles and caresses her arm. It's okay. It shows us that we raised a smart boy and we're doing a good job as parents. Jessica looks at him with doubt on her face. You sure I'm doing a good job? I mean, raising a child I'd hard enough, but Khan with his intelligence, it's kind of a challenge. AOI kisses her forehead. It's going to be okay. A little challenge makes things more interesting. I know we can do it. This made Jessica smile, starting to feel better. You're right. We can do it, thank you, she said while petting under his chin, making AOI purr, which always made Jessica giggle. Hours later, in 2 a.m., as Khan is peacefully sleeping in his bed, laying on his back, the man with white hair, who's now in his room, looks at Khan with a smile on his face. There, little one, I'm not gonna harm you. After all, I'm here for your quirk, the man said. Then he reaches his hand, which has a hole on the palm, to Khan's face and grabs it. Soon, red aura comes out of Khan's body into the man. However, it made Khan cry, wake up screaming in pain, while a scar starts growing from Khan's left eye and start bleeding, causing Khan to scream harder. And the man grins. However, once completed, he moves his hand away. Jessica enters the room while holding a gun, but her eyes widened when seeing what's going on. Who are you? What have you done to my baby? She yelled with her anger, overriding her fear, and she aimed her weapon at the man. Back away from my child, I'm warning you, she demanded, so the man raised his hands to surrender and back away to make Jessica see Khan in pain. Her motherly instincts kicked in as she approached him and hugged him. Baby, you okay? Mommy's here. Mommy, my eye, my face, it hurts so bad, cried Khan, but the man with white hair grins wider. Meanwhile, AOI in bed suddenly jumps up, hearing Jessica scream. He gets up and dashed towards Khan's room. "Jessica, what's wrong?" He called out, however, when he opened the door. His eyes widened in horror as what he saw was Jessica with no arm and covered in blood against the wall, while Khan, despite being bloody on the face, went to shake her. "Mommy, Mommy, wake up, please, Mommy, Mommy, open your eyes," Khan demanded while he started to cry. Aoi dashed towards the two and shake Jessica. Hey, use your quirk, come on, stay with me," he demanded while cupping both her cheeks, resting their heads together. I can't, my quirk, region by command, is stolen." Aoi's eyes widened as his tears started to build. No, hold on," he cried while ripping his shirt to patch the hole on her missing arm. Mommy, stay awake, please," begged Khan. But Jessica looked at him and caressed his hair. "My little cub, Mommy loves you very much. Please be safe and live for me. Please." That was the last thing she said before losing her last breath, making Khan tear up a storm. Mommy, no. He cried, hugging her tightly while his body shakes. Asi, full of tears, but also full of anger, gets his claws out and growls. "Ah, you come to join the party, Green Lion. I hope you don't mind if I stole some of wife and son's quirks," said the man with white hair, making Aoi look at him with full anger and fury. "All for one, you bastard, will kill you," he roared while launching at the man revealed to be named All for One. However, All for One grabs Aoi by the throat. A lion quirk, now really useful to me," he said before snapping his neck in front of Khan, making his tears grow. "Daddy!" Khan cried while All for One drops Aoi to the ground, causing Khan to crawl and hug his body instead. "Daddy, wake up, come on, please wake up, I can't lose you too," he cried, but All for One aimed his palms at Khan. "Don't worry, you'll join them soon," he said, while charging a yellow beam ready to fire. However, a fireball hits All for One from Khan's window, causing All for One to roll across the apartment and out of the building to crash into a random building. As he recovers and gets back up, he grins seeing the person who hit him flying, and scowls at him, which was Endeavor, the #2 pro hero of Japan. "So you're All for One. You made a big mistake going after Green Lion like that," said Endeavor as the fire that's covering his entire body starts to get bigger, and he fires a fire beam after All for One, while All for One use a random quirk to summon a yellow shield to block the beam. "Ah, #2. What a pleasant surprise, we're your great symbol of peace. He should be here to defeat me, but no. They send a weakling like you," he said mockingly, making Endeavor furious. "He'll show you weak," he roared while charging after All for One. Meanwhile, a random pro hero, a black-haired teenager who seems to be a rookie pro hero, has entered the apartment in a hurry. Their appearance is black long hair, wearing a black bodysuit, yellow goggles, and gray scarf. As they looked around, he called out, "Green Lion, where are you?" However, all he heard, despite the fighting outside, he heard sobbing, heavy sobbing of the sound of despair, so he goes towards Khan's room. However, his eyes widened, witnessing the chaos. "My G," he said, slowly already feeling sick like he was about to lose his dinner. However, he controls himself, as he focused on the only survivor, which was the 4-year-old who glares at him, and the blood from the scar seemingly start to dry up. "If you're here to hurt me, he'll kill you," said the boy, making the teenager's eyes softened with pity, but then he heard a voice from his comms. "Eraserhead, what's your status? How's Green Lion?" asked his co-worker and best friend, Present Mike, but the teenager, revealed to be named Aizawa, raised his hand to touch his earpiece, saying, "We need ambulances now. Green Lion is dead." An hour later, outside the apartment building, cops surrounded the whole place, and the other residents of the apartment building were escorted outside for safety. Both Jessica and AOI are in a stretcher covered in sheets as they are being transported each to an ambulance. Then those cars drive off while Eraserhead and Present Mike watch. "Man, this is such a bad tune. I mean, we just lost number 10. This is not going to go well for the media," said Present Mike while Eraserhead nodded. "Yeah, I'm more worried about the kid," he said while looking at Khan, who's sitting on the back of the ambulance being treated by a female medic who has covered his left side of his head with bandages. "Well, good news within a month. Your left eye is still usable, but the scar will be permanent, so don't scratch it until then, okay?" said the medic while they finish up and look at him, hoping to get a reaction. However, all she saw was emotionless eyes of despair and fury, so she walked off while Khan glared at Endeavor, who's talking to a young detective who's wearing a brown trench coat and hat while crossing his arms with his serious tone like usual. Khan gets off the ambulance while holding his blanket and approaches Endeavor, catching the attention of the detective and Endeavor. "Mr. Popstar, you shouldn't be walking around," said Endeavor with little pity in his eyes for the child, despite trying to hide it with a mask of seriousness, but Khan ignores him and glares at the detective, aka Tsukachi. "Where?" the kid said in a whisper, raspy voice from the crying, causing Tsukachi to kneel to his eye level. "What is it, little guy?" Tsukachi asked. "Where's my parents' killer?" asked Khan, making Endeavor. And Tsukachi looked at each other, but then Tsukachi shook his head. "Sorry, we can't." "Where is he?" yelled Khan, cutting Tsukachi off, but Endeavor frowns. "That's none of your concern." Kun, now enraged, glare at Endeavor with hateful eyes. "None of my concern. My mommy and daddy are dead, and you tell me it's none of my concern. Who said you get to decide not to tell me I may be a child? But I want my answers." He screamed with tears running down his cheeks in despair as Tsukachi decided to look away and lie. "We don't know, but I promise I'll investigate who he is," he said. But Khan, despite being a child, growls and points at him. "Liar, you know who he is. Endeavor called him all for one. Who is he? Why aren't you telling me? I demand answers," he cried, making the detective and Endeavor flinch in worry. But soon purple smoke comes from behind Khan, making Tsukachi and Endeavor cover their mouths as Khan breathes in the smoke, and slowly his eyes became very sleepy before he collapsed, fallen asleep. The two men looked up from behind Khan as a long, spiky, black and purplish-haired woman with a very revealing outfit has two utility belts cover her private areas like a bikini, as she has red long boots, a green trench coat, and a black V-shaped visor. The woman absorbed the pink smoke, which was her quirk somnambulist, which makes pink sleeping smoke come out of her skin. After she absorbed it, Tsukachi and Endeavor sigh of relief. "Thank you, Midnight," Tsukachi said, as the teenage woman revealed to be a young Midnight as she nodded. "Glad I could help. By the looks on your faces, it looked like an extreme topic." Endeavor nodded. "Yes, we're talking about a country-sized threat the child shouldn't know about," he said, crossing his arms as Midnight looked down at Khan. "Oh, you poor baby," she said in a cute voice as she picked Khan up, holding him tightly, rubbing his back. "He must be just frustrated, and don't know how to process everything," she said, as Tsukachi rubbed the bridge of his nose looking at the building with his hands in his pockets. "What a mess," he muttered, as the three of them nodded and walked away from the building. Chapter 3. A few days have passed for Kon, as without any family to go to, he became an orphan and lost not only his parents, but his home. And since he's only 4, he doesn't have legal allowance to use his parents' money, so for now, he's been sleeping in the police station until the funeral is over. Eventually, the funeral happened for Aoi and Jessica Popstar. Their funeral was a big gathering because of friends and their co-workers of pro heroes, since his father was the number 10 in the hero rankings. They soon buried them both next to each other in a nice peaceful ground, which made Kon feel a little better knowing his parents' bodies were in a perfect place to rest. However, after the funeral, Tsukachi, who was the one escorting Kon, asked many of his parents' friends and pro-hero co-workers of a chance of adoption, but all of them said they were too busy or didn't have enough money for him, despite Kon knowing it's an excuse that they didn't want to raise a quirkless kid. Now his quirk is not stolen by all for one. When the funeral was completely cleared out, the officers decided to take Kon to an orphanage. The next morning, a police officer pulled over to the only orphanage in Tokyo, called Tomb Orphanage. When the officer exits the car, he approaches the back seat and opens it to show Kon with his backpack of all the stuff he wanted to bring to him. When he exited the vehicle, they both made their way to the entrance of the building, where the officer knocked on the door. It took a few minutes of silence until the door was opened by an elderly woman. Hello there, officer. How may I help you?" asked the elderly woman. "Sorry to come here so sudden, but I'm afraid you may have a new member of the orphanage." "This is Kon," the officer introduced while looking at Kon. "Oh, wonderful. It's always fun with new members joining us, even if it's temporarily. Do you have everything you need, Kon?" The elderly woman asked which Kon. "Nod, yes, Mom," said Kon, which made the elderly woman smile and gently hold his hand and guide him inside while the officer waved them goodbye as he goes to his car and drive off. The elderly woman, who, judging from a few business talks from co-workers Kon, concludes she seems to be the person who runs the place, Mrs. Tomb. Mrs. Tomb eventually opens a door to reveal a bedroom with several beds. Probably more than one kid sleeps in this room. He points at the counter where the spare bed is. "This is your bed for now on. Please treat it with care," she said, which made Kon nod, and puts his backpack down on his bed before she continues. "You can spend the rest of the day getting used to the place, while I plan the chores for you, as every children in here has chores to take care of the place. With that, I leave you to it," said Mrs. Tomb as she leaves the room, leaving Kon to his own business. The next day, Kon was given the task to sweep up the floor, which wasn't a bad chore for Kon. So while Kon was sweeping the entrance floor into a dust pile, another kid approached him. "Hey there, you're Kon, right?" the boy asked, making Kon nod. "Nice to meet you, but I had a question. What's your quirk?" "Mine is I can change my hair color," the boy said while changing his hair color from green to pink at will. Kon looks down at his broom. I lost my quirk. It was stolen," he said with a whisper, making the boy raise an eyebrow. "Stolen? Haha, that makes you quirkless, huh? What a loser," the boy said while walking away, causing Kon to clench his fist at his broom. Coming from a loser who can just change color, he thought, but willing did he knew, saying that was the worst thing he could ever said. As after that rumors start to spread to the other kids about his quirklessness, which made Kon life living in the orphanage difficult. As after that, The kids decide to have fun with a quirkless kid. At first, during the few weeks, it was just insults of his powerlessness and how terrible he is. However, the bullying grew into pranks, with knocking stuff over or destroying property all over the place. While the kids put the blame on Khan, making Mrs. Toombs grew a hatred for him. Khan tried to defend himself, however, it was for nothing, as nobody took his side. It got worse when some of the kids take more of the food, leaving others hungry, but they blame Khan for being too selfish to eat the food for himself. The last straw for Mrs. Toom was at the end of the month. The bullies trashed his bed and put food on it, and of course they blame it on Khan while secretly stealing his belongings. Mrs. Toombs had enough and grabbed Khan by the wrist and drags him to the front door and threw him out. "Stay out, you troublemaking, quirkless brat," yelled Mrs. Toom as she slammed the door behind her. Khan just punches the ground. Dang it all. How can this happen to me?" he whispered, while tears developed in his eyes. After a few minutes on the floor, he puts on his backpack while standing up and limps towards an alleyway. As he arrived at the alley, he leaned against the wall and hugged his knees while crying, "Mommy! Daddy, please help me," he begged, but nobody came. Nobody ever did. After that, he tries to survive in the alleys. However, it was extremely difficult, as some thugs beat him up as punching bags. The people who works on stores won't let a quirkless kid stay in their building, and the pro-heroes just walked away too busy on villains and looking good for the public, which made Khan's blood boil into hatred for pro-heroes for abandoning him, an innocent person in need, like their job is supposed to be. 2 months later, Khan, with torn clothes and a skinny frame, was under a bridge as he sneaked inside an homeless camp, while the homeless guy went to piss against the floor. With him distracted, Khan sneakily headed inside the blue torn tent and found a bag and looked through it. "Come on, there's got to be something," he mumbled until he found a full loaf of recently stolen bread, making him smug with satisfaction until he heard a clicking noise of a shotgun. Khan panicked, turning to see the homeless man holding a shotgun at him, making Khan grow tears in his eyes in fear as the homeless man growled, "Stupid child." He tried to fire his gun, but to Khan's surprise, the weapon got jammed, making the homeless man frustrated as he tried to fix it. Khan, seeing the opportunity, ran past the homeless man, who quickly noticed and swung the weapon like a bat, sending Khan to a brick wall of the bridge. But he still clung to the bread as the homeless man grinned, aiming his shotgun. "Nobody steals from me," he said as he fired, but Khan quickly ran away, biting his lip as a few pebbles hit him in the left arm, making holes appear on his left arm, bleeding out, making it limp. But Khan just ran away through the rainy night, hoping the rain will wash off the trailing blood as he bit his lip harder enough to draw blood, while his knuckles turned white as he put the bread under his shirt to prevent it from being soaked, while tears fall in his eyes from the pain as he kept running in the streets as his dirty shoes hit pebbles and mud, until he arrived at an empty alleyway but tripped by a can, causing him to fall and landed face first on a puddle. Khan cries in pain, but tries to fight it as he desperately eats the whole bread at the same time, trying to cure his starvation. As he finishes, he lays on the puddle as the rain drops on his entire body, but however, he didn't care, as he realized what happened as he, looking at his left arm, and his eyes widened in fear as he realized he's losing too much blood. No. No, 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 no. He cried in a whimper as he tried to lift it. And it seemed Khan lost all his adrenaline, because he started to feel the pain as he cried on the ground, as he tried to move the arm. "No, no, no, please not now. I can't die here. I can't." he whimpered, pleading for his life. As his right hand placed to the ground, trembling and shaking badly, as he tried to push up but failed, as he crashed to the floor crying, scratching the ground, trying to claw it, crying, pleading, "No, please, please, someone, anyone, please." He begged, but the rain got heavier, muffling his pleas, making him cry harder. "Please, I don't want to die, please." He begged louder, but got nothing, no strangers, no police and no pro-hero come to save him. He breathed heavily, hyperventilating. As he looked around, but he was startling to lose hope. Just then, he heard footsteps approach the alleyway from behind, which it was from a young woman with dark red hair and orange eyes as she was holding a black umbrella. When the woman entered the alleyway, her eyes widened in horror as she said "Khan" on the floor, causing one hand to cover her mouth in shock. "Oh my gee, are you okay?" she asked, kneeling beside Khan, who glared at her. "What a stupid question, I'm dying, and that's what you have to say," he thought. But to his surprise, the woman picked him up with one of her arms, while the other holds her umbrella to cover them both. "Oh, you poor thing. I should get you help quickly," she said urgently, as she carries Khan out of the alleyway and ran as fast as she could past the crowd. As Khan looked at the woman in shock, "Is she helping me? Why?" he thought before closing his eyes, feeling weaker as he passes out. Chapter 4. 6 years later, after the events. And what didn't change much is, they continue living their lives. Among the crowd in the streets of Tokyo is a young 10-year-old blonde girl who has 2 messy buns and cat-like yellow eyes and fangs, wearing a school uniform, as she is walking among the crowd until walking into a dark alleyway. As she enters the alleyway, she sits down up against the wall, breathing heavily. "So much blood," she said with a grin, as she grabs her dark green backpack and grabs a messy plastic bag full of fresh blood. She unzips the bag and starts devouring the blood, gulping it all down. Once finished, she sighs of satisfaction. "Hee hee, such delicious blood," she said. But she shakes her head, covering her face with her hands, sobbing, "What am I doing? Why can't I stop? Please, no more, no more." She silently begs herself to stop her urges from her quirk, but then she heard 3 people approach the dark alleyway, so she looks at them with a grin, but secretly her eyes still tear up. "Ah, more puppets to feed on," she whispers only to herself, as the 3 thugs eventually stop walking and glares at the young girl. "Well, what do we got here, a little brat?" said a male thug who seemed to have an appearance of a half-human, half-snake. "Wait, I seen her before. Oh yeah, that's the crazy villain everyone been talking about recently, the one who can drink people's blood," said a female thug who has scraps of metal instead of arms. The blonde girl growls, "I'm not a villain, I'm a survivalist," she corrected, but the third thug, who seemed to have stitches all over his face, scowls. "Oh yeah, tell that to the villains you leave in corpses. Actually, now I think about, you're more of a serial killer." This made the blonde girl pissed, but her face shows a grin. "Shut up and give me your blood," she yelled while charging after the Stitches thug with her knife out and ready for the kill. However, it was blocked by the female thug's arm. None of that," she said, swinging her arm like a blade, while the blonde girl dodges her attacks. However, the snake thug decided to join in and use his abilities to turn his legs into a snake tail, to slither so fast he gets behind the blonde girl, trapping her into a bear hug. The blonde girl's grin falters as she tries to get him off of her. "Let me go, you slippery bastard!" He reared, trying to use her knife, but the third thug took it away. "Good luck trying, little B," he said before japing the knife to her shoulder, causing the blonde girl to scream in pain. "Ah, music to our ears," said the female thug as she sniffs the air like she's smelling a delicious dish. "What are you going to do to me?" the blonde girl asked while squirming. "Oh, simple, you've been causing trouble for our business in the underground, so we're just going to get rid of the problem," said the Stitches thug as he grabs her head. "You see, my quirk is called sacrifice. I can drain blood from anybody. In return, I get stronger," he said, as he was ready to use his quirk on her. However, he got distracted as behind the thugs, a loud smack of metal caught their attention, so they turned around to the end of an alleyway where a dumpster is. What they saw was a 10-year-old boy wearing a navy blue hoodie, gray shirt, black pants and shoes. Lastly, a blue utility belt. The boy was carrying a crowbar as he just used it to hit the dumpster, giving the four of them their attention. "Huh, what's this kid doing here?" said the snake thug. "Hey, brat, this is none of your business. You better run off to your mommy, or else you're next," warned the Stitches thug. The 10-year-old boy just stares at the blonde girl's eyes, and he can just tell it screams, "Help me." So he takes a deep breath and grabs a device from one of his pouches from his utility belt. The device looks like a gold pocket watch with multiple high circuits all inside of it and a big red button on top. Once he got the device out, he pressed the big red button. 10 holographic clones of the boy appeared out of nowhere, but slowly the holograms turned real. "Destroy them," the boy ordered, so the clones go after the thugs, which the snake thug had to let the blonde girl go to help his allies, leaving the blonde to fall on the floor and panting from the pain of the knife in her shoulder. The thugs try to fight the clones in the end. It was for nothing, as the clones outmatched them with fighting skills, while the original just watches with pride at his inventions. Once the clones knock out all the thugs, the clones disappear into thin air, leaving just the boy and the squirming blonde girl. The blonde girl grins and pulls the knife out, despite the horrible pain, as she licks the blood from the knife. The boy begins walking closer to her, but the blonde girl aims her blade at him. "Stay back, it'll hurt you, and make sure you bleed good," she warned. But the boy just ignores her and walks towards her until he stops and kneels in front of her. "Are you okay? That looks like a deadly wound," asked the boy, but the blonde girl just growls, "Why do you care? Why did you help me?" she asked, but the boy grabbed a custom-made silver pen that has green neon letters on the side reading "Regeneration Pen" from his utility belt, making the blonde girl nervous, but let him use it. The boy pushed the black button on top, causing the quill of the pen to come out of the bottom, covered in green glowing ink. He poked the quill on the blonde girl's shoulder, causing her shoulder to regenerate to normal, making the blonde girl's eyes wide. "How did you?" "Regeneration pen I made myself. I made an ink from a healing quirk user's blood, but I also had to adjust it with herbs and make it turn into ink. Making the green glowing ink, you see. It can regenerate anything once in contact, and it doesn't waste any of the ink. Isn't that cool?" The boy cut her off before pushing the button to retract the quill back inside, while putting it away before continuing. "It's as for why," he said while removing his hood, revealing his brown with green streak hair and yellow lion-like eyes. "Your eyes, they speak for themselves. You were begging for someone to help you." "My eyes? The blonde girl stammered, and the boy nodded. Yes, the same painful eyes I used to have, the eyes of defeat. Nowhere to go and someone to save you, or maybe a hero, but nobody came. So instead I did it. The boy stands and offers his hand to the blonde girl. What's your name? He asked while the blonde girl was developing tears. Someone like him is helping her. A blood feeder, a monster, but he didn't care. So she accepted the hand, and he helped her stand. Himiko Toga, that's my name. The boy smiles. Cute name, Toga. Mine is Khan Popstar. So Toga, would you like some help? He asked, but Toga hesitated and looked away while squeezing his hand. You want to help someone with a villainous quirk like mine? Toga asked, but Khan nodded. Doesn't matter if it's villainous or not. If you need help, that's what I will give you. Because you look like you don't deserve to suffer like this, he exclaimed. Toga looked at Khan in surprise, but slowly tears started to develop. Khan was about to calm her down until she tackled him to a hugs as she cries on his chest. Please, help me. My family kicked me out because of my quirk surges, and I don't know what to do, she cried, making Khan soften and hug her tightly and caress her head. It's okay, I'll help you. I know a place where we can go. Will you follow me? Toga backs away from the hug and nods, wrapping her arm around his arm while grabbing her backpack. Lead the way, she said, which made Khan nod, and they head off, leaving the dark alleyway. 6 years later, in a random bedroom, a 16-year-old Himiko Toga is sleeping peacefully on her bed, wearing a white t-shirt and black shorts. As she sleeps, her phone goes off at her nightstand, showing her alarm. Toga, hearing the alarm, opens her eyes and turns her phone off. I'm up, she said while rubbing her eyes, but she smiles, remembering what she's doing today. She got up and stretched while heading to the bathroom. Once there, she turned on the lights and started brushing her teeth while she sees photos of her and Khan when they were 12 years old. The photos were taken for Toga's 12th birthday as they went to the amusement park together, remembering their time together. And when Toga confessed her love to him, and how they started dating, which made Toga smile. Master Khan, she thought, while spitting her toothpaste that was in her mouth. After that, she took a quick shower and then left the bathroom wearing just a towel. She moved to her dresser while dropping the towel to get dressed in her usual work attire, while making her hair into twin nicely buns. Her outfit is black suit jacket, white button shirt, but it's buttoned enough to show cleavage, black suit pants, and lastly red high heels. After getting dressed, she puts on a wrist-like device that says Unholy Angel's Quirk Deactivation Cuff on it, as she puts it on so the device automatically locks. On the device was a red rocker switch, so she turned it on so the device went invisible and her quirk was deactivated. Ever since Khan made it for her, it deactivated her quirk, similar to quirk suppression handcuffs. However, these can even deactivate mutant quirks, transforming people into quirkless humans without harming them. After that, she grabs another device, which is a green, high-tech collar, with tubes all around it, with blood inside the tubes. The high-tech blood collar allows her to shape-shift her body into whoever she wants. Once all dressed and ready, she grabs her work folder and leaves her room to reveal she's inside an huge underground base. The base has plenty of room with monitors and plenty of workers, almost like a small HQ for a secret organization. As Toga walks in the halls, a co-worker waves to her. "Good morning, Mistress Toga." said the co-worker while waving and walking past Toga, which Toga does the same. Morning, she said, then more workers walk past her giving her greetings. Toga eventually enters a room, which seems to be an office where the big boss lives and works. The room has one office desk for her boss, a giant monitor, and in front of the monitor on the other side of the room is a brown couch with a coffee table. Currently, she's the only one in the office, making her sigh of disappointment. It seems he went out again. I hope he didn't overwork himself, she said, while sitting on her boss's office chair and putting her clipboard down while she opened the computer that was resting on the desk. Once she's logged into the computer, she'd go through the updates of business her organization was working for, was going well, and barely any situations was happening. However, she all of a sudden got a call from her computer. So she answered, "Mistress Toga," the caller said, sounding like showing respect to their boss. "Brain, I'm guessing your squad is out on the field in the morning." "Yes, ma'am. However, we encountered a shipment about to be delivered. According to Agent Twice, the shipment is full of the quirk drug trigger. Do we have permission to attack, mistress?" Brain asked. But Toga tilted her head. "Did you deactivate cameras yet?" "Yes, ma'am. We hacked the cameras to make it look normal and remove any traceable evidence," explained Brain, making Toga nod. "Then you may proceed and destroy the trigger," she ordered. Then the call ended, making her rub her temples and lay back on her chair. She pouts when she looks at the office door. "What's so important that you have to be outside for this long? Don't tell me he's still building that stupid thing," she sighs. Chapter 5. Meanwhile, in the daytime, at Hosu City docks, where a small ship that has a giant shipping container on the back has finally parked beside the edge of the dock, where 30 people, mostly villains, wearing matching black outfits and black ski masks, are surrounding the entire dock watching the ship park. One of the masked villains, who's sitting on a crane, uses the crane itself to hook into the shipping container and gently drop it down into a truck, which was ready to be attached to the container. One of the masked villains opens the container to reveal shelves full of suitcases. He approaches one of the suitcases and opens it to reveal several vials of trigger inside, making the villain grin under the mask, while another masked villain approaches the guy. "Are we all set?" asked masked villain. 2, making the first masked villain nod. "Yeah, we're good to go," he said while closing the suitcase, and both masked villains exit the container while locking it down. The first masked villain approaches the driver, who's also a masked villain. "It's all set now, get going. We'll be right behind you," he ordered, which the driver nod to that and start the engine. Once the engine is ready, he drives off. However, he doesn't go too far, as in the shadows, a figure with a custom helmet, which is modified to have some sort of voice-related device. The figure adjusted his helmet so he sounds just like the masked villain. "Stop now, we got company." The driver stopped and looked over his mirrors. "I don't see." The driver was cut off as the figure pointed a finger at the driver, which made a purple dot appear above his head. Then the figure snapped his fingers, causing the driver's eyes to go white, almost hypnotized. The figure smirks under his helmet, while all the masked villains notice the truck stop moving. "Hey, moron, what are you doing?" I said. "Get moving before the pro heroes get here," he ordered while going towards the truck. He raised an eyebrow, seeing the driver just stare into space as he got in the truck by the passenger seat. "Hey, wake up, stop daydreaming," he commanded in concern while shaking the driver, but it wasn't doing anything. However, he heard a silenced firing noise, so he looked forward. However, he felt something just jabbed his left shoulder. He looked down at what hit him, but his eyes widened to see a bullet completely made of stone hit him. However, it had something purple on the tilt, which is making him sleepy. "It's sleep-tipped," he said as he passed out, going to sleep. "Hey, everything okay over there?" yelled Masked Villain 3 as he approaches the truck, but his eyes widen to see the driver still hypnotized, and the other masked villain asleep with a stone bullet on his shoulder, making his eyes widened, and he gets his quirk ready while turning to the other masked villains. "We got company." The other masked villains get their quirks ready and look around. "Wow, it took you this long to figure it out, how lame," said a female with an American accent speaking Japanese. "Indeed, someone didn't bless them with high intelligence like our Lord," said another female while she held her hands together. The masked villains look up at one of the rooftops of one of the warehouses to see 7 figures on top of the rooftops. 6 of the figures wearing matching uniforms like a police force. Their uniform's appearance is black bodysuits with zippers on the center where their chests are. The fabric of the bodysuits are made of custom material called anti-quirk fabric, which means the fabric can absorb any attack from a quirk, as well as being bulletproof, fireproof, and cold-proof. The details are yellow outlines with gold angel wings on the chests. They also have biker-size helmets that has lenses shaped like ninja eyes. And on both sides of their helmets are yellow symbols that represent their code name. Also, all the helmets have built-in eraser lenses, which allows them to deactivate quirks of anybody they see. Same goes for mutants, and on the back of the helmet is a red rocker switch to activate them. The helmets also include voice changers, can let them breathe underwater, and gas masks. For the bottoms over their bodysuit, the 3 males have navy blue cargo pants with black boots and navy blue gloves, while the 3 female members have black leggings with yellow line on the side. And over that are navy blue skirts with black boots and navy blue gloves. "I gotta tell you, Ivy, you say they aren't blessed with intelligence. I think they are blessed with low IQ," said the American accent girl codenamed Speed, which her helmet symbol is speed and her boots are different, as they are high-tech that allows her to replicate a super speed quirk. "You shouldn't be too insulting our foes. At least they try their best," said codename Ivy, which for her uniform, her helmet shows the symbol of a tree, and her gloves are high-tech gloves with gaps on her knuckles that allow her to summon vines out of her knuckles. "Ladies, let's not be judgy tonight, and let's get the job done," said codename Size, as the difference in her uniform is her helmet symbol is size difference, and she has high-tech gauntlets that allow her to change size of anything she sees from a distance. Speed's right, though. If they are smart enough, they would have checked more areas, especially on rooftops, said codename Lightning, which for his uniform, his helmet symbolizes a lightning bolt, and he wears high-tech gauntlets and boots that allow him to control lightning at will. "Says the idiot that almost destroyed the microwave last week," said codename Strength while he rolls his eyes. For his uniform, his helmet symbol is weights, and he wears big high-tech gauntlets that allow him to have super strength. Hearing that, Lightning growls, "Hey, that was the one time. How are you not over that by now?" Brain scoffs. "Knock it off, you two, and Lightning don't give our enemies ideas," he said. His uniform was mostly normal, however his mask is modified like a modified gas mask that allows him to mimic anybody's voice for distraction. And the mask also allows him to hypnotize anybody by pointing at the target, causing a purple dot to appear above the person's head, and then snap his fingers to activate or deactivate the effect. Lastly, the helmet symbol is a brain. On his right thigh is a holster for his custom silence pistol that shoots bullets made of stone with sleep tips. His left thigh has a holster for his machete. On his back is his custom silent sniper that also shoots bullets made of stone with sleep tips. Lastly, chains are wrapped around his wrist. "What's your call, boss?" asked the last member, who was a tall teenager codenamed Hurricane, which for his uniform is a normal uniform. However, his helmet symbol is a tornado, and the helmet has an extra design with a black captain's hat on it. On his entire uniform is a flexible exoskeleton device that allows him to manipulate the wind by command. As Hurricane asked, he looked at the leader, aka the Angel of Equality. His outfit is white button shirt and gray high-tech shoulder pads with yellow spikes on it for design attached to the slevs themselves. Gray elbow pads with exhausts for extra speed. On both hands is black high-tech gauntlets that has electric knuckles and speaker in the palms, with the left one containing a grapple hook and heat laser, while the other has a machine gun barrel that fires sleep darts. Over his top is a blue sleeveless trench coat covered in blue feathers. A black high-tech collar around his neck with a blue rocker switch on the back of the collar. Black suit vest with shiny golden tie. Black suit pants with a blue utility belt for all his gadgets. And on his thighs are his black holsters for his ice pistols. Gold ring on his left middle finger with a button so he can shrink his helmet down or not. Brown custom jet boots with 360 rotation thrusters. Anti-gravity soles, and on the other side of the jet boots are holsters for his daggers that has green poison on the blades. On his back that's attached to his trench coat is a sword strap containing his medieval sword that has a custom high-tech grip that allows his sword to be covered in blue fire. Lastly, a gray helmet with blue angel wings on the side. On the back of the helmet is a red rocker switch for a racer, but it's also surrounded by black buttons in a circle. Black visors shaped like a ninja. However, also, and box outlines surrounding the visor to its chin showing the faceplate is removable. Also, when he wears it, it has a voice changer to make me sound like a male and female at the same time. The Angel of Equality smirks under his helmet as he's sitting on the ledge. "For now, take them all down, but leave them alive," he ordered, which all the unholy angel field soldiers flick the switches on their helmets to turn their lenses red, activating a racer which deactivated all the masked villains' quirks, making their eyes widened. "What the hell, I can't use my quirk," yelled one of the masked villains. "Impossible, only Eraserhead can do that," said another masked villain. "Wait, I thought the unholy angels only work in Tokyo," said another masked villain. However, Angel of Equality snapped his fingers, sending his soldiers after the masked villains, which they do in excitement. Speed dashes around, hitting the villains left and right with sucker punches while stacking them all into a pile. Ivy dodges attacks from the villains, toying with them while wiping them with her brown vines coming out of her gauntlet and throwing them into the pile. Lightning decides to throw sticky cyan-colored lightning balls at them, which stick to the villains in place and then blow up after a few seconds. Strength for his fights, he blocked the attacks from villains with melee attacks and decided to beat them up like they were punching bags. Size decided to shrink some of the villains down, to pick them up like toys and threw them to the pile of masked villains, leaving them to be crushed to unconsciousness as Strength crushed them by stacking more masked villains on top of them. Brain from a distance fires his silence pistol on non-lethal areas. One by one, villains go to sleep, and lastly, Hurricane decided to fly in the air and use wind to lift the last villains and threw them towards the wall, knocking them out. Eventually, all 30 masked villains are knocked out and put in a pile while the unholy angels' field soldiers group up with a small celebration from their victory, while Angel of Equality approaches them with his arms crossed behind their back. "Well done, everyone, a clean victory as always." The soldiers bow. "Thank you, Lord Angel," they all said, while Angel of Equality nods and approaches the driver's seat of the truck. Brain approaches the Angel of Equality. "Sir, will we be destroying the trigger now?" Angel of Equality shakes his head. "Negative, Brain. I need you to come with me as we'll be delivering the driver to his destination to see where they were supposed to go to. There's a more likely chance we'll find more," he explained, while tossing the sleeping masked villain out of the passenger seat and toss it with the pile. "As for everyone else, call the cops to pick up their trash and head home," he ordered, which everyone except Brain bows, as Angel of Equality uses jet boots to fly high above the rooftops. While Brain parkours to the rooftops, Brain ordered the driver to where he was supposed to go. Angel of Equality ordered, making Brain nod, and with a flick of the wrist, the driver drove the truck full of trigger drives to their destination, while Angel of Equality and Brain parkour from rooftop to rooftop towards the truck to follow. After a few minutes, the driver eventually approaches a warehouse where the doors automatically open to the truck, recognizing the driver, so the truck was able to head inside. As the door closed among all the crates full of trigger, a man was pressing a remote to close the door. Their appearance was a man with a tiger-themed jacket, black shirt, pants, and brown shoes, and yellow long hair. "Finally, what took you guys so long? Did you have pro-hero problems or something?" he asked while approaching the truck driver from the driver's seat, only to see the driver staring into space. The man decided to open the door and wave at the driver's eyes. "Yahoo, are you listening to me, you moron?" "I'm afraid he can't hear you," said a voice which startled the man, backing him away from the truck while getting his gun out. "Who's there? Show yourself!" The man demanded, however, as he looked around in the shadows. He saw nothing, but all of a sudden he heard laughter coming from all over the place, making the guy breath heavily but frown. "Stop laughing and show yourself," he roared, while aiming his gun. However, as he looked around, several clones of the Angel of Equality came out of the shadows, grinning under the helmets, while laughing, making the man paranoid. "What the hell? Stay back, you'll shoot," he warned while thinking, "What the hell? Does this guy have a cloning quirk?" As the clones got closer, the man fires his gun, shooting a few of the clones, giving them bullet holes. However, they just keep laughing, making the man keep firing, until he falls on his butt panicking and ran out of bullets. He can't do anything but breathe heavily. "What do you want?" he whispered, until one of the clones grabbed him by the throat. "Answers from a little trigger dealer," Angel of Equality said while lifting him into the air, and the clones disappear while the man squirms, trying to get free, but Angel of Equality grips harder. "Keep trying, he'll just snap your worthless neck," he said, while Brain walks up from behind his boss and points a finger at the man, marking him with a purple dot above his head, and then snap his fingers to activate hypnosis on the man. "All done, sir," said Brain, while the man squirming eventually stopped as his eyes went blank, so Angel of Equality dropped him. "Who are you and why you here?" The man stood up. "My name is Yokota Daiichi. I am a trigger dealer sent by the villain factory that stores and sells triggers to others, or paid others to do it for me," he said in a robotic-like voice. So you're the one behind selling the drugs all this time. How interesting. Would you mind telling me, where is this villain factory?" Yokota shakes his head. Unfortunately, I never been to the factory or meet the people. They were only calling to tell me the locations of the warehouses to sell. I get untraceable phone calls on a burner phone. Angel of Equality laughs to that. Untraceable, oh please, that's light work, hand me the phone. He ordered, which Yokota did not give no resistance, and hand him the burner phone. So Angel of Equality toss it to Brain, which he caught it while Angel of Equality opens one of the crates to reveal tons of trigger samples. Jackpot time to leave Brain, he said as he closed the crate and knock out both Yokota and the masked villain driver. Once they are knocked out, they head outside, piling them up in an alleyway. After that, Angel of Equality stretches while walking up to the warehouse while unsheathing his sword and activating the switch on his grip, causing blue flames to surround the blade. He stabs the building, causing the flames so start surrounding the building with blue flames. So he sheaths his blade and walks towards Brain, who grins, watching the warehouse to burn. "Excellent work, sir," said Brain, making Angel of Equality do a quick bow. "Why, thank you, Brain. Now shall we be off? We can get La Brava to hack the phone and leave the criminals to the cops and fake heroes. They have served their purpose," he explained while walking away, so Brain follows behind his boss as they hear police sirens nearby, seemingly approaching the burned building. After taking a little walk, they eventually arrived at a closed cat cafe called Hellcat Paradise. They go to the back of the building to the back door. Once there, they knock on the doors, and the camera that's nearby facial scans them until it makes a ding noise, causing the back door to be open, so the Angel of Equality and Brain walk inside the cat cafe while the back door closes behind them. They make their way upstairs to the second floor where it shows a clean, furnished apartment. However, they just go to one of the bedrooms and walk towards a big dresser that can fit a person. They open it, moving the coats that are hanging out of the way to reveal a handprint scanner, so Angel of Equality scanned it. And the floor that's inside the dresser goes down like an elevator. As it goes down, Brain takes off his helmet and holds it, revealing his purple hair and tired eyes and his identity as Hitoshi Shinzo. He yawns, making Angel of Equality chuckle. "Hey, somebody's tired." "Yeah, my parents made me help them with work last night, so I didn't sleep much." Angel of Equality smiles to that and ruffles his hair. "Well, you're done for the day. You did great tonight. So get some rest after delivering the burner phone to the hacking squad." Shinzo blushes in the contact, but smiles by the praise. "Thank you, sir." The elevator doors open, so they walk out, revealing an underground 5-floor HQ with white walls and interiors. As Shinzo and Angel of Equality walk, Shinzo turns to head to the Hacker Command Center, while Angel of Equality goes to his office while waving to his workers and scientists inside the facility. He eventually arrived outside of his office and opened the door. However, as he closed the door behind him, Toga pinned him to the door while pouting. "And where were you, sir?" Toga asked in a frustrated tone, making Angel of Equality gulp. "Shoot, I forgot to tell her," he thought before taking a deep breath. "I was on morning patrol and also did a few meetings with different police chiefs to get them under my command. Then when I came across the field agents after Shinzo called you and decided to join them. Sorry, I had a lot on my mind this morning, so I forgot." Toga sighs to that answer but keep him pinned. "You know I can help you by tagging me along. How many times I have to tell you that?" Angel of Equality sighs. "I know, and I'm sorry, Himiko." Toga moves her hands away and crosses her arms under her chest. "I forgive you. Just keep that in mind. You make me worry when I don't know where you are. Angel of Equality shakes his head. You don't have to worry, Himiko, I'm fine, he said while walking to his desk, but Toga pressed a hand on his chest, giving him a glare. May I remind you that I'm talking about a guy I know since I was 10 years old, who often cuts themselves, do countless reckless things behind my back, get chased by cops and pro-heroes as the Angel of Equality almost every day. And some days, you come home covering bruises and scratches, but you shrug it off like you want to get hurt until I force myself to heal you. I have several reasons to be worried about you, she yelled. Making Angel of Equality flinched, but he sighs and look away from her. I guess you have a point. Toga smiles to his understanding, so her face softens while cupping his cheek. Let me look at you, make sure you're not hurt, she said with a hint of worry as she tilted his head to look at her. Then she gently takes the helmet off, revealing his face and true identity as Khan Popstar, now 16 years old, with his brown with green streak hair, yellow lion-like eyes, and his scar across his left eye. There's my handsome devil, she said with a blush and a wicked grin as she walks to his desk to put his helmet down on it. Come sit with me, I missed you all morning, she ordered, so Khan nods and sits on his office chair while leaning back, kicking his feet up so Toga climb on his lap and cup both his cheeks. Jesus, Khan, your eyes have bags under them. When did you last sleep? She asks with concern. So Khan closes his eyes and think with a thinking face. Well, I was working on the Doomsday Tower all last night. Then I woke up, had to help Aunt Serena and Ashley with the Sanctuary Community Center. Then I went on patrol until I found the field soldiers. He opens his eyes before continuing. Overall, I think the last I slept was the other day, I think. Hearing that, his eye widened. Seeing Toga smile, however, her eye twitches, and he can see a vein pop from her forehead. You mean to tell me you skipped a full day of sleeping and were going to do the same today? She asked slowly and kindly, but Khan can tell she's preventing herself from strangling him. Yes, he said nervously, which made Toga pout. You're going to be the death of me, Khan. Okay, you're going to sleep right now, she demanded, making Khan shock. What? No, I need to get work done. Toga japs a ballet finger at his chest while protesting. No, you're not. I'm not letting you overwork yourself to death, Khan. But, Khan Popster, I don't give a damn if other people need your help. They can wait because you need rest and you're way too important to the organization. And more important to me. Do you understand me? She barked. Khan opened his mouth to protest, however. The glare and worried look of Toga made him close his mouth and look down and pout. Fine, he mumbled, which made Toga smile and pull his chin up to kiss him on the lips. Just listen to your girlfriend and go to sleep, okay? They'll join you. After all, I don't mind taking a nap, she said, while breaking the kiss with a whisper and cheeky grin. So Khan sighs and lay back further and closes his eyes while wrapping his arms around Toga as she closes her eyes. Giving a satisfied sigh on his chest. Have a good nap, my darling, Toga said. As Khan goes to sleep, making her blush, hearing his heartbeat and peaceful snoring. So she goes to sleep as well. Chapter 6. The next morning, inside a police station in Musatafu Station, a detective, specifically Detective Tsukachi, now aged up to a full adult, is sitting in his office looking through the case he's been having to deal with for the past 6 years, which was the Unholy Angels organization. For 6 years, the organization has caused quite a problem for the pro-heroes, as they are well known for being a vigilante group here to make Japan safer. However, their efforts have caused people to slowly lose faith in the pro-heroes, which got the director of the Public Safety Commission's attention, setting up an investigation to hunt down the leader and shut them down before things get worse. However, it's very much easier said than done because the organization isn't just a random cult, it's a whole crime boss organization, like a modern-day Yakuza. Their so-called leader, the Angel of Equality, is ranked as an S-class villain mastermind, despite being a vigilante. The only lead he had for 6 years is that the crime scenes they leave behind, and the social media accounts. However, the only account is a man named Gentle Criminal, who he concludes is a member of the Unholy Angels. They track the accounts, or try to get the accounts banned. However, the accounts only lead them to random locations throughout Japan every time, and the owners of the social media apps don't ban them, as they don't break the rules in their guidelines, and making excuses, saying it's all a staged act, making the detective confused if they are also owned by the Unholy Angels or not. However, with no evidence, they couldn't shut them down, leaving their chaos to spread, creating a huge fan base and fan websites that supports their cause. What's really annoying the Public Safety Commission is that ever since they existed, crime and discrimination in Tokyo has decreased to 0.2%, which causes many to move there, and everyone else in Japan starting to lose faith in heroes if a vigilante organization can make Tokyo the safest place in Japan. As Tsukachi looked through the files, he hears a knock on his door. "You may enter." He said so. The door opened to reveal his co-worker, Sansa Tamagawa, a police officer with a mutation cat quirk that gives him an appearance of a humanoid cat. "Hey, Tsukachi, just wanted to check to see how you doing, man," he said with his arms crossed, but Tsukachi takes a deep sigh. Frustrated last night, a warehouse full of trigger was set on fire, and the suspect who was behind all the trigger dealings won't talk to me because he's paranoid that somebody will come out of the shadows. Sansa tilts his head. Tsukachi give him a tired, blank expression. "Who do you think?" "You mean Japan's guardian angel," Sansa said sarcastically, making Tsukachi groan. Yes. And I swear this guy just kept this bastard alive to mess with me. What's worse, without the suspect be able to talk to me, I can't find their boss, and they probably took all the evidence." Well, why not asking for therapy to calm him down? I mean, it could work, but by that time we get there, the Unholy Angels probably found the suspect's boss by then. Ugh. And then I had to deal with a phone call from the director. Sansa rolls his cat eyes. Yeah, she hates it when there's no progress on the case. Why not just call Nezu to help? Nezu is busy right now since UA will open in 10 months. And besides, he's focused on his own investigation on the Unholy Angels. And what duty found? Tsukachi shrugged. Only the fact that they might be hiding in Tokyo and probably own a lot of facilities. We searched all the businesses in Tokyo and found zero evidence of any of their involvement, even using the city cameras to search any suspects, but found nothing. Whoever runs the organization knows what they are doing. Sansa meows out of habit from his quirk while chuckling. I guess I almost feel bad for you, Tsukachi. Tsukachi rolls his eyes while looking at the window. I will find you eventually, Unholy Angels, he thought. Meanwhile, at the Unholy Angels, H.Q. Khan still asleep in his office chair until he slowly wake up stretching while yawning. Ooh, how long was I out? He asked himself while rubbing his eyes, but don't see Toga laying on his body, so he looked around until Toga entered the office with a tray of breakfast on her hands. Upon seeing him awake, she smiled with a blush, while her jacket is on, but resting on her shoulders instead of her arms in the sleeves. "Why, good morning, handsome," she said while putting the tray down on his desk, which the tray was full of bagels with cream cheese and fruits. "Morning, did we sleep through the whole day yesterday?" he asked tiredly while resting his head on his desk, but Toga giggles to his tired expression. "Well, mostly yes. You sleep through the rest of the day while I did woke up, but I didn't want to bother you. So I went back to work and everything is fine," she explained as she hands him a bagel, which he accepted while sitting up and eating his bagel. "So what's on the agenda today?" "Well, nothing. Mostly just paperwork and a few police chiefs to bribe our cause, and we might have a new member joining the field soldiers." This made Khan raise an eyebrow. "Oh, and who is he?" Toga places the tablet, and after a few clicks, a profile appears. His name is Dobby, no last name, and his quirk is blue flames, which is surprisingly supported to be flames hotter than Endeavor's flames. Dobby is a mercenary in the underground doing small jobs, and from what we gathered, even through personal stuff, Dobby DNA matches the same DNA as Endeavor's first son, Toya Todoroki. This made Khan's eyes widened. "Endeavor's firstborn want to join me. Ha ha ha! What an interesting development. How do we know he won't backstab us or telling the truth?" Toga shrugs. "He's been talking a lot in the underground about wanting to find our members to talk to them or you." Khan shrugged. "Okay, then where is his location? I will talk to him myself." Toga taped a few buttons on the tablet. "He's in Musatafu near a school called Aldrea." Khan frowned. "I do not hear good things around that area." Toga frowns. "Yeah, from what Twice gathered, it's a very corrupted school that likes to praise the strong and bully the weak." Cone finishes his bagel and crosses arms. "I might pay a visit to the principals someday. Nothing like stealing their data would do the trick." He stands up and reaches for his dresser to grab a high-tech face mask, which has the same ability, his Himiko's collar. He puts it on, causing his face to shapeshift into long white hair that goes to shoulder length and cyan eyes. This is his public appearance if he ever gets caught unmasked by the identity of Bruce Utaka. Khan pressed the button on the ring that's on his left middle finger, causing the Angel of Equality's helmet that's on the desk to shrink down to pocket size, so he puts it in his pocket. And lastly, he flicks the switch that on his black high-tech collar, so a black holographic cloak forms around his body and sleeves with a hood until it becomes realistic, so nobody can see that he's Angel of Equality under the clothes. "Well, he'll be heading out. Did LaBrave find anything out of that burner phone?" Toga shakes her head. "Nope. She said it will take them a long while, probably a year at best." Khan nods. "Oh well, Trigger not a serious problem to us. We'll leave it to the heroes, but keep the field soldiers on patrol, saving lives. And make sure to do it in alleyways and maybe public areas so people can see their actions to gain the public's approval." Toga nods and smile. "Will do, and good luck with Dubby." Khan kissed Toga on the forehead before leaving the office, so Toga sits on Khan's office chair while eating a few fruits. Meanwhile, in the streets of Musatafu, a black and green-haired boy with freckles on his cheek shaped like diamonds and green eyes wearing a black Aldrea uniform, red shoes and yellow backpack, was running across the streets heading to school. "I can't be late. Gotta get there in time." The boy, though, however, his eyes widened to see a giant villain with shark features on top of their train tracks roaring, Whoa, that's a big supervillain. I wonder if that's part of his quirk, the boy said, but decided to get closer and squeeze past the crowd to get a good view while taking his notebook out called Hero Analysis for the Future number 13 and start writing down the villain. "Look up there," called out a citizen, so everyone looked at the train tracks to see codename Ivy on the train tracks as she dashed towards the villain. She extended her hands, so brown veins come out of her gauntlet knuckles and wrap around the villain. "Damn you, brat, let me go," the villain demanded. However, a cyan lightning bolt attacked him in the head, causing the villain to be electrocuted. "Oh!" the villain cried, until he was knocked out by the electrocution. The green hair boy looked up the nearby rooftop to see codename Lightning was the one who zapped the villain. "Whoa, are those members of the Unholy Angels?" a female citizen asked. "Well, they just took care of the villain at ease. I'll be able to go to work without delay," said another civilian who started applauding, causing everyone else to cheer despite them being vigilantes. But they've been around for a long time and known to defeat villains quick, non-lethal, and barely any property damage. As they cheered, the Unholy Angel field soldiers left the area, leaving the cops to arrest them. The pro-heroes eventually showed up, but were shocked that the villain was already taken care of. "Damn it all, I didn't get to show the people my awesomeness," said a bratty blonde-hair pro-hero who seems to be a new hero named Mount Lady, the green-hair boy's eyes wide of amazement. Wow, so fast. They must have trained their quirks for so long to do that efficiently. That puts to question, does that lightning guy need to be specific when he fires his lightning bolts, or can he explode and cover himself in lightning? Is the color of his lightning depending on his mood or personality? Also, the vain girl's quirk, does it come only out of her knuckles, or is it out of her body? The green-hair boy asked himself as he mutters a storm with questions, making everyone walk away until a bald guy with 3 stars as part of his head smirks at the boy. "Ah, I see you're taking notes. Dear boy, tell me, do you plan to become a hero too?" Hearing that question, the green-hair boy gave an adorable smile to the man. "Yes, that's always been my dream." Meanwhile, a few hours later, Khan, still disguised as Bruce Yakata, walks among the crowd as he looks on his phone to see the news. Breaking news on an early morning. A villain has decided to run rampage on the train tracks, causing the train to be almost crash into the villain. However, what reports say the members of the Unholy Angels have arrived, with one of them using a vein-like quirk to capture the villain, and the other using electricity to stop the train without damage and knock out the villain. Thanks to their efforts, the villain was taken care of, and the train continued rolling before the pro-heroes, Death Arms, Backdraft, and Kamoy Woods, along with a new pro-hero Mount Lady, could ever arrive. For 6 years, the Unholy Angels have done nothing but good deeds. Despite illegal vigilantism, they have destroyed many crime operations, stopped villains, and prevent property damage than the current pro-heroes could have done for years. Despite their illegal actions, many have speculated that the Unholy Angels do better jobs as heroes than our hero society could, said the reporter as she's in the scene. She looks at the pro-hero Death Arms, who is a white man with cyan blue outfit and caution color design. "Tell me, Mr. Dead Arms, what's your opinions on the vigilantes known as Unholy Angels?" she asked while aiming the mic at Death Arms' lips. However, before he can answer, Khan turned his phone off and put it away in his pocket. "Like I need to hear what a worthless fake hero has to say about us," he said as he goes to an alleyway. At the alleyway, there's a scared man leaning against the wall. Their appearance is black hair, blue eyes. Their outfit is black shirt, black pants, black boots, and lastly, navy blue trench coat. What really catches Khan's attention was the man is covered in purple scars and looks to seem to be burned up, including his face with staples all over his body, looking like he's trying to keep his body together by force. As Khan approaches the man, the scared man looks at Khan with suspicion. "What do you need, something? If you're here to smoke, sorry pal, I don't have any." Khan chuckles. "Nah, I'd rather have clean lungs, thank you very much." The scar man chuckles. "Fair enough, so come to chill then?" The scared man asked, while Khan leaned against the wall next to him with his arms crossed. "Sort him looking for someone named Davy, do you happen to know him?" The scar man glared at Khan, giving him a clear hint. "He's Davy. Depends who's asking you, a cop." Khan laughs. "No, but someone better than a cop, let's just say a guardian angel." This made Davy raise an eyebrow. "You mean the unholy angels? How do I believe you?" he said with skepticism. However, Khan flicks the switch on his collar, making the cloak disappear, while he grabs his helmet out of his pocket and presses ring button to grow the helmet and put it on, taking the full attire as Angel of Equality as he glares. "Because I'm the one who owns them," Khan said. Seeing Khan's transformation, Davy's eyes widened but quickly covered it up with a smirk. "So you're Angel of Equality, what a pleasure. I heard you're looking for us, Mr. Dobby. Why?" Khan asks while standing in front of Dobby, making Dobby cross his arms. "Because I heard stories about you for years, and it piqued my interest, and I think I could help you. Do you want to join us?" Dobby nods. "Something like that. In exchange, I want something." Khan smirks under his helmet. "I'm listening." "Help me ruin Endeavor's life," Dobby requested, making Khan raise an eyebrow. "Endeavor? Ah, now I see, so my theory was correct." "What theory?" "Don't think we wouldn't figure you out, the quirk stronger than him. And think to our tech, we did DNA scans connecting to the same thing, your Endeavor's first son, Toya Todoroki. Am I correct?" Dobby smirks. "You're clever, yes I am. Do you have any idea why I want to ruin him?" Khan rubs his chin through the helmet. "Let's see, a presumed dead firstborn child, all scared like that, and have not returned home with a fake identity that makes it clear. Because Endeavor ruined you first. So you want revenge, am I right?" Davy nods with a grin. "You are 100%. You're a smart fella. No wonder you ruled Tokyo with an iron fist. So what's next? You're going to say killing my father for revenge is wrong, and not very hero-like for your vigilante organization." Khan just laughs to that. "Ha ha ha ha, as if I may be multiple things. But a hypocrite. Not one of them. We got that in common, because I have someone to kill. But that's personal, a secret I'll never tell." Dobby shrugged. "Fair enough. So do I got your interest, boss man." Khan scoffs. "So well, you're doing well in this interview, but here comes my proposition. You work for me for now, and the rest of your life in exchange. You get paid daily, resources to heal your body, and lastly, you'll have my support, and I'll help you get your revenge. All I want is your loyalty. If you help me, we can destroy the society and make a better one where people don't have to end up like you ever again," Khan declares, while offering his hand to seal the deal. Dobby hesitates, feeling like he's selling his soul to the devil. However, what has he got to lose? So he takes his hand. "Fine, I'm at your service, boss." Khan grins and grabs a device from his pouch, which was the Unholy Angel's Quirk Deactivation Cuff. So he handed it to Dobby, making him confused. "What's this?" Dobby asked. "Unholy Angel's quirk deactivation cuff. I made it myself. Every single person who works for me has one. Which it's made from unbreakable and unhackable material with a tracker and anti-lie detector tech. Please put it on requested." So Dobby puts it on his right wrist and the device locks in place. If you flick the switch, the cuff will go invisible and your quirk will be deactivated. As in the Unholy Angels, we show people that quirks aren't everything. Also, if you betray me like doing stuff I wouldn't like or snitch on us, without my permission, your memory will be wiped and your quirk will be permanently deactivated. This made Davey's eyes widen. "Damn, no wonder you guys aren't caught. You have a loyal army in your fingertips. I guess I did sold my soul to the devil." Khan grinned. "Yes, but don't threat we don't control your free will. It's more of an emergency, in case we don't want our organization to be stopped." Dobby nods. "I understand, so what now?" "For now, wait for me at Hellcat Paradise in 3 days tops. It's a small cat cafe." Dobby nods, while in the corner of Khan's eye at the end of the alley, he saw a villain made of green slime flew past, while dropping money, making Khan sigh. "Well, it's the end of the interview. We'll see you later, Dobby, and welcome to the Unholy Angels." Khan ended the conversation while parkouring from wall to the rooftop, impressing Dobby as Khan sprints away once at the roof. Dobby crosses arms. "Unholy Angels, huh? This will be interesting," he thought while walking away from the alley. Chapter 7. Meanwhile, a few hours ago, Izuku Midoriya enters his class in Aldria Junior High class, while writing his hero analysis for the future number 13 journal. While still thinking about the Unholy Angels fight he witnessed earlier, as he sat down on his seat while everyone in his class looked at him in disgust, like there was a giant bug in their class, the bell soon rings and the teacher enters the room. And at the podium, while holding papers, all right, settle down, students. I know you're excited because school will be over soon, but you must thinking about your future," said the teacher. However, he turns away and throws the papers in the air. "Who am I kidding? You all wanted to get in the hero course, don't you?" he said, causing a whole crowd in cheers as the students use their quirks at the same time to show their answer, while Izuku quivers away trying to look invisible by hiding with his notes. But then a boy with blonde spiky hair and red eyes who has his feet kicked up scoffs. "Hey, teach, don't get me involved with these rejects. They wouldn't be lucky to be sidekicks," he said, causing a roar of anger, insulting him with protests, but the boy ignores them. "Ah, Katsuki Bakugo. According to your report, you're planning to get into UA, am I correct?" said the teacher, causing another roar of protest, saying UA is the best hero school in Japan, and it has 0.2% chance in acceptance rating, which caused Bakugo to stand on his desk with his palms open, causing his quirk explosion, which his sweat can explode by his command. So tiny pops of explosions appear on his palms, while he grins. "Yes, I'll be the only one in this stupid school to get into UA and become the greatest hero, greater than all, might, and I'll send those unholy angel punks to the ground for getting in the way of my glory. So don't even try extras," he said, but eventually his ego was ruined, as the teacher said, "Oh yeah, Midoriya, didn't you apply for UA too?" This made Bakugo grin turn into anger, while Izuku goes lower trying to hide. But Bakugo lets off an explosion on Izuku's desk, causing Izuku to fall on his butt on the ground, while Bakugi clenches fist. "What the hell do you think you're doing, you quirkless wannabe?" What makes you think a worthless brat like you can get to UA are trying to show you're better than me? Huh? Izuku crawls backwards while waving his hands in defense. Wait, Kachin, that's not what I'm trying to do, it's just... I wanted to be a hero since I was a kid, and I should give it a try. Before Bakugo can say anything else, the teacher cut him off. Bakugo, please save your energy for after school, he said, sounding bored. Bakugo scoffs and goes back on his seat while Izuku climbs back on his seat. A few hours later, school ended for the day, and Izuku is packing his things ready to leave. He reaches for his hero journal but was easily snatched by Bakugo. Hachita. We're not done talking, Deku, he said while his lackeys come on from behind him. What you got there, Bakugo? Lackey 1 asked, while picking up Izuku's journal, Hero Analysis for the Future. I like this kid will get to UA. What is a quirkless loser like him would benefit for a school like UA, said Lackey 2, but Izuku chuckles pathetically. Really funny, guys, but can I have my book back? He said while reaching for it, but Bakugo snatched it back only to blew it up with his quirk, making Izuku panic, while Bakugo throws the book off the window without looking. I'm a living prodigy, hell. I'm the best thing to this school it will achieve to be the greatest hero, even better than All Might. Most greatest heroes usually comes from different schools. If these extras learn them from this school, and the only one from here to get in, UA, it will become the biggest honor and give me privileges. He touches Izuku's shoulder, which starts to smoke while Bakugi gives a forced smile to intimidate. So don't apply, he said before walking off to the exit, but stops while his laces leave. You know there's another way of getting a quirk. Do you want to know what it is? Just take a swan dive off the roof and pray for a quirk on your next life, he said with a grin, while walking away, making Izuku's eyes widen while holding his tears. Maybe he's right, Izuku said, but he shakes his head. No, I can't think like that. He grabs his stuff and leaves while picking up his notebook. Surprisingly, despite being blown up and thrown out of a window, it's still usable. Izuku didn't want to go home early. He decided to walk towards the tunnel while laughing like All Might, trying to stay positive until the villain made of sludge enters a skinny human bodysuit. Thanks, kid, you're my hero, he said before grabbing Izuku and slowly cover him with his own body, shoving his body into his mouth and nose. No, this can't be happening, said Izuku in his head since he can't speak or breath. I need to do something. Come on, there's something I can do. He looks around in a panic while trying to remove the sludge, but it was too slippery. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Please, please, someone. I can't leave Mom behind. I can't die yet. As he tries to escape, he's slowly losing his breath and closing his eyes. Maybe Kachan is right. Maybe ill reborn with a quirk, and Mom don't have to take care of a Deku like me. However, as Izuku was about to die, a manhole cover that's on the ground shoots up, hitting the ceiling, while a giant muscular blonde figure with blonde slick back hair, except two stings that are like the letter V, wearing tight white t-shirt that's so tight his muscles can be seen. Lastly, dark green cargo pants and shoes. The man had black eyes with blue glowing pupils and an iconic grin while holding grocery bags. Fear not, citizens. Why? Because I am here. The figure was revealed to be All Might, the #1 hero in Japan, and nicknamed the symbol of peace. The slime villain's eyes widened. It's not All Might. I thought I lost him, he thought, before trying to control Izuku's body faster. However, All Might charge up a punch. Tex! Smosh! He roared while throwing a punch which was so hard the wind pressure flew away but hit the sludge villain, causing it to explode and freeing Izuku. Before Izuku passed out, he saw the figure who threw the punch. "Is that all might?" he thought before passing out. Meanwhile, Khan now changed back to his disguise as Bruce, with his cloak and helmet put away parkours from one building to the next, eventually pierced on a ledge. All right, where did that slimy bastard go? He asked himself until he heard a familiar voice. Tex xa smash. Khan looked down to see a tunnel where the voice came from, making Khan deadpan. "You serious All Might's here? I'm not dealing with that big idiot today," he thought while standing up until he raised an eyebrow. Seeing All Might leaving the tunnel while carrying a green hair boy and put him down on the ground while dumping soda bottles from his groceries and shoved the sludge villain inside. Khan decided to watch as he witnessed All Might slapping the boy gently and rapidly, causing the boy to wake up. However, the boy panicked and crawled backwards. What followed was the green hair boy worshipping the big idiot while thanking him for saving him and getting his autograph. Soon All Might was ready to go launch away. However, Khan's eyes widened when he saw the green hair boy grab to All Might's leg while All Might leaps into the air. "Is that boy stupid? He'll get himself killed," he yelled while activating his jet boots and fly towards them while pulling the hood from his cloak up to hide his identity. Luckily, All Might realized and landed on a nearby rooftop, which Khan's sigh of relief before landing on the same rooftop, but remained hidden by pressing a button from a device on the back of his utility belt, making him invisible. He decided to keep watching while crossing his arms. "You said that you had a question, right? I'll let you ask it, but make it quick," All Might demanded. Hearing that, the Izuku snapped out of it and then hit his chest to regain some of the air his lungs lost from all the screaming he did during the first part of the flight. Right. What I want to ask you is, he began, which made Khan raise an eyebrow. "Come on, spill it," he thought. "Sometimes I feel like a failure, that deep down part of me accepts that there's no hope for me," he said, which made Khan frown, almost understand the feeling. "But even so, I can't give up, not until I know for sure. That's why I have to ask you. Is it possible to become a hero if I don't have a quirk?" Izuku asked with a loud shout. Khan and All Might froze to that question, almost make Khan want to blow his cover just to hive him the right answer. Izuku decided to continue speaking, with tears in his eyes as he did. "I'm just a normal kid among a world of people with powers, and who are special because of them, but since I first saw you, I've wanted nothing more than to become a hero. Maybe part of me trying to reject the reality that I can't be one. And maybe it's stupid that I still believe there's a chance, but I need to know," he said, lowering his head. Sniffling a little, he looked up again, his eyes briefly shining from his tears. "Could I ever hope to be someone like you?" Izuku asked, almost begging. Khan was feeling saddened for the kid, as he knows the feeling as years ago when he lost his parents. All he wanted to do was to die with them. Even to this day, he sometimes wished that. His survivor's guilt consumed him, but at the same time, without it, he wouldn't be who he is. His thoughts were cut off as his and Izuku's eyes widened when they saw steam consumed All Might. And what replaced him was a skinny blonde man, with the same appearance, just looks like a skeleton, and has no smile. What the hell just happened to him, Khan thought. Wait, who are you there's? No way you're the real All Might, you're a fake and imposter, Izuku accused, but All Might sighed. I assure you, I am All. He was cut off as blood comes down his mouth, disgusting both Izuku and Kon, but All Might sighed. I might as well explain everything, so make sure you get comfy, he warned as he sits on the floor and lifts his shirt, making Izuku and Kon's eyes widened, seeing All Might's injury which looked like a swirl. Pretty gross, isn't it? I got this wound in a fight 5 years ago, and it didn't stop at just the skin. My respiratory system was destroyed, and I lost my whole stomach. So it's a miracle that I'm even alive right now. Worse is that all the surgeries have worn me out, and there's no way to fix it. The form you saw before is me using my quirk to recall my old strength, but only for so long. As of now, I can only do hero work for 3 hours. He revealed, making Izuku shocked, but Kon grins. That means All Might is weakened, and with that injury he won't be able to get in our way. That's it, eh? I got a contingency plan for him. Let him use his quirk until his timer works out and knock him out. And how do I do that? Fake villains to distract and use his timer. Kon thought with a plan. However, Izuku claims All Might got his injury from the villain Toxic Chainsaw, but Kon know the truth, which made him growl. It was his fight with All for One, causing All for One to almost lose his head. Kon was so pissed that day because All might steal his fight and cause him to not forgive him for it. However, his anger grew as All Might glared at Izuku, saying, "As for your question, young man, quirks have become stronger, which means villains become stronger and harder to defeat. So no, I don't think you can become a hero without a quirk or even with a weak one." This absolutely pissed Kon off, while the Izuku's eyes widened and tears started to develop as his dream was crushed. All Might stand up and sigh. If you want to become a hero, be a police officer. They don't get a lot of credit, but they do help people. He approaches the exit staircase door. While opening the door, he said, "It's okay to dream, young man. Just make sure they are realistic and obtainable," he said, which made Kon's eye twitch while the All Might leaves, while Izuku finally had enough falls to his knees and cries his eyes out, knowing his dream, the one he always wanted, was destroyed. Kon looked at the boy with sympathy. Damn, that big piece of garbage, he didn't know anything about what we are capable of. This boy is suffering like I have. He clenched his fist. He needs someone who believes in him, someone to guide him to achieve his dream. Luckily, if All Might won't do it, then I will, he thought, while deactivating his cloak and put on his helmet while still invisible. Once changed into Angel of Equality, he crosses his arms behind his back, while Izuku no longer speaks, but just cries. "What a fool he is," Kon said out loud, making Izuku's eyes widened as he looked around. "Who's there? Who said that?" Izuku asked with a quiver in his voice. "I did, young man," said Kon while deactivating his invisibility, making Izuku's eyes widened. "Who are you? Wait, I recognize you from the news and articles. You're the Angel of Equality," he said while standing up, wiping his tears. "Indeed I am, dear boy." "Why are you here?" "Wait, did you saw everything?" Kon nods. "Yes, I was invisible the entire time, and I must say that All Might is just an idiot." Izuku looks down. He's right, though. Everyone was without a quirk and useless, just a Deku. "You're very wrong." Izuku looks at Kon with wide eyes. "How can you say that?" Izuku takes a step back as Kon approaches him and puts a hand on his shoulder. "Because you and I are not so different, because I am also quirkless. This shocked Izuku. Wait, that's impossible. I mean, your organization did so much, and many articles theorized of your capabilities of how you basically rumored to rule Tokyo. Khan shakes his head and taps his forehead. If I don't have power, I just make it. That's the problem. For this generation, they rely on quirks. However, I rely on the human part of me, my mind. I build everything from my gadgets to my organization. While being quirkless, hell, I could be the #1 hero if I wanted. Hearing that, Izuku had a feeling what he's about to say. Are you saying I could be like you if I use my brain? Kon nods. What's your name? Izuku hesitates to ask, but with a spark of hope he decided, my name is Izuku Midoriya. Hearing that, Izuku blush as Kon place a hand on his messy green hair. Izuku Midoriya, if I could rule Tokyo by being quirkless, I believe you can become a hero without a quirk, he declared. Hearing those words, the very words even from an illegal vigilant criminal, made Izuku's eyes tear up as he began to cry, as he fell to his knees, as he held his chest thinking of what Kon said. I can become a hero. He believes in me, he thought. Kon sighs and let him cry, but after a few minutes, he opens his arms. Izuku Midoriya, seeing the young man, I want you to join me, he said, making Izuku shock as he looked at Kon. You want me to join you? Be a part of the unholy angels? Kon nods. Yes, as you know, we are a vigilante group who seeks to help people. However, we have a true goal to end discrimination and make the world a better place and destroy the society that made people like you suffer. You feel it too, don't you? Your quirklessness has given you real pain. The bullying, the disrespect by others who have quirks, I know the feeling personally. You really think you can achieve that, sir? Izuku asks. But Kon nods. Yes, I have a huge plan for the world. I want to create a new world where society gets to live for themselves, so they don't rely on heroes. A world where heroes and villains are in the past. A world where quirks aren't the importance in life. A world where families can roam around safely while the corrupted suffered the consequences of their actions, he explained while offering his hand for Izuku to take. I can give you purpose, my friend. I'll show you the ways of how to protect everyone. We'll show you there's no more suffering for you. Why? Because I'm here for you, he declared, making Izuku tears to keep growing. But despite how dangerous it can be, he wants to save lives and become a hero. And if he's the only way, so be it. So he reached for the Angel of Equality's hand. Chapter 8. As Izuku reached for Kon's hand, an explosion came off nearby, causing them to turn to it while Izuku stands. What was that? Izuku asked, but Kon shrugs. There's one way to find out, he said while kneeling. Get on my back, kid. Izuku's eyes widened. Wait, you want me to what? Either that or I leave you behind, your choice, really. Izuku sighs and climbs to Kon's back, so Kon uses his jet boots to fly towards the situation, making Izuku cover his face with Kon's back, remembering what happened last time when he climbed on All Might's leg. When Kon landed on a building next to the commotion, so Izuku climbed off, and they headed towards the commotion, to have both eyes widened to see the sludge villain again, attacking a bunch of heroes, somehow using a quirk to blow up by command. Izuku looks around, noticing the pro-heroes who aren't evacuating, just stand there like statues. Why are they just standing there? Izuku asked in slight annoyance as Kon shrugged. My guess, They probably think their quirks aren't capable of helping, so maybe they are waiting for someone else to do the job. This made Izuku look at Khan in disbelief. No way they are doing that. I mean, couldn't they just think of a strategy or something? Khan snarls. You think these heroes even have the brains for that? They recruit braindeads every year because of their quirks, he said as he looked back at the situation and glares, noticing All Might among the crowd. Pathetic, even quirkless, he doesn't have a plan to do anything, he thought, while Izuku's eyes widened when he saw someone inside the slime. Sticking out which was blonde hair and red eyes. That's Kachin inside, he whispered in shock, catching Khan's attention, and look at the sludge villain. Damn, he took a hostage. But a slime villain shouldn't be a problem, he thought. But Izuku looks down in shame. It's all my fault, he said, getting Khan's attention and frown. What are you talking about? All Might had that villain in his pockets. If I didn't grab his leg, the villain wouldn't have fallen off. That's incorrect, Khan said, making Izuku look at him as Khan ruffled his hair. All Might pants couldn't carry that weight and that velocity. It would have fallen off with or without you. If he was smart, he could have just carried both bottles. But nope. He looked at Izuku with a smirk under his helmet. Hey, want to see something cool? Izuku slowly nods. So Khan pats his head and stretch. I'm going to fight it. Hearing this, Izuku's eyes widened. How? Just watch, he said as he jumped off the building, shocking Izuku and everyone else that noticed him. As Khan landed behind the sludge villain, Hey, booger boy! He called out while reaching to his utility belt, catching the sludge villain's attention, as he turned to him with an angry growl. I know you're... He was cut off as Khan threw a flashbang in front of the villain's eyes as the bright light blinded the villain. Oh, what the hell? The villain growled, causing him to lose concentration and setting Bakugo loose. Seeing the opportunity, Khan charged and kicked Bakugo in the stomach so hard it knocked the wind out of him, but also sent him flying free from the villain's grasp, rolling him across the ground, causing Death Arms to charge in and grab the boy and take him away from the fight. Before the sludge villain can fight back, can throw in freeze grenade, freezing the villain's entire body, shocking him. Khan looked around and found a silver trash can. So he used his sword to cut the villain in half, which he grabbed the top half where the villain's head is, and shove him inside the trash can and seal the lid with his laser, making him stuck while he used the chance to grab the frozen lower half and toss it into the fire, burning the sludge to evaporate from the boiling heat. The heroes and Izuku stare at Khan in shock, seeing the fight ended easily. While they stared at him, Khan grabbed the sealed metal trash can and threw it at the ground, rolling it towards the crowd. And he opened his arms wide, giving a jazz hands. Hello, wannabe heroes? Was it really so hard beating this sucker? You guys are seriously ridiculous. The comment pissed off the heroes as they get ready to fight. Angel of Equality, you're under arrest for years of vigilantism. Recruit innocent bystanders and manipulating others for your own gain, Kamui Woods said. However, the pro-hero's quirks aren't working because Khan's eraser was activated, which means while looking at the heroes, their quirks are deactivated, but Khan taunts them. Assus, what's wrong? Can't use your precious quirks. Come on, heroes, aren't you gonna fight me? Oh, wait. By your definition, you're powerless, right? Oh, well, you'll be a waste of my time anyways. So see ya, he said as he used his jet boots and flew off while going invisible. Everyone's quirks soon activated once he was gone, but it was too late. So the heroes grabbed the sealed trash can containing the villain and arrested them, leaving Bakugo, who's sitting on the floor beside Death Arms, shocked at what just happened, while Izuku, still at the roof, look at the distance where Kon disappeared too, but he smiles in admirement. A few minutes later, All Might aka Tashinori Yagi decides to walk away to a neighborhood. Damn it, what kind of hero am I if I didn't live up to my ideals? I could have helped that boy, but instead I just watch because One for All is getting weaker for me to use, Toshi whispered while couching blood on his hand, but he wipes it off. What's worse, I still haven't found a successor to One for All to transfer to. I guess I have to accept Nezu's offer, huh? I just hope it's worth finding in UA, he said while walking off. However, nearby Kon, who was still invisible, overheard everything, causing him to grin. So All Might's quirk is called One for All, huh? I wonder if it was created by All for One. What's better, it can be transferred, so he needs a successor, huh? Well, looks like I'm going to UA, he thought as he parkours to a roof and flies away using his jet boots. A few minutes later, Izuku was walking on his way home while reading his journal. Man, that was amazing. He did it all solo just by using a device to replicate a quirk, which I can recognize it's the same quirk Eraserhead has, but somehow it's a better version of it. If he's quirkless, then that means he can build them. That's genius. Why haven't I ever thought of that? Maybe there's a chance for me, he thought. Then he remembered the Angel of Equality's words. Izuku Midoriya, seeing the young man you are, I want you to join me. Remembering that Izuku can't help but smile, maybe I should take his offer, but where do I... Hey kid, a voice cut him off. So Izulu turned to see the Angel of Equality, not invisible, making him startled. Mr. Angel, sir. What are you reading? Kon asked, but Izuku blushed of embarrassment and hugged his notebook. Nothing special, sir. Just a, hobby of mine. Hearing that caught Kon's interest, so he approaches Izuku and offers his hand. May I take a look? Izuku froze, but with a shaky nod, he hands him the notebook. I know it's nothing special. Most call it creepy, but I was always fascinated by quirks since I don't have one at all, he said while holding his hands together while Kon reads the notebook, but his grin grew wider under the helmet. Izuku, this is amazing. I mean, I mostly think on the fly, but this is impressive. This book shows quirks and their potentials that I couldn't think of, including strategies on how to use them better and weaknesses and how to avoid the weakness. This isn't creepy, Izuku. This is a genius in play. Hearing this, Izuku's eyes widened and he hugs himself. He couldn't believe what he was saying. An illegal vigilant crime boss first said his dream can be possible, and now he says his hobby is genius. He can't tell if it's true or if he's just being nice. But tears of joy develop in his eyes, but he tries to hold it together and look at Kon. Mr. Angel, can I ask about what you said earlier? Is it true you want me to join your organization? Kon looked at Izuku while giving his notebook back. Tell me, boy, if you were in that situation with a slime villain, what would you do? And don't say you can't just use your mind. Izuku thinks for a moment, but his eyes realize and look at him in excitement. Since his entire body is made of slime, that means the only part that's solid is his eyes. I could just focus on blinding him. So Kachin can escape, and the heroes can defeat the villain. Izuku explained, making Kon nod. Correct. See, what did I tell you? You're useful to us, hell. Your brain is almost as good as mine. I could use someone like that. Izuku froze but stutters, You Need me? Kon nods. You say that those fake heroes just stand there and wait for someone with a better quirk to finish the job. However, your mind just told you a solution that shows quirks aren't everything. No matter what's happening, you thought of a backup plan. That's a true definition of a hero, does whatever it takes to save people no matter what. That determination and drive of a true hero shows I want you to be in my organization. So what do you say? Will you help me? And together we'll save everyone, just like you always wanted, he asked while offering his hand. Izuku looks at the hand and hesitates, but he shakes it. Please make me a hero. An hour later, Izuku arrives at his apartment complex with Kon, who's still dressed as Angel of Equality, while invisible. As they enter, Izuku makes his way to the front door of his apartment. He unlocked the door and entered. Once inside, he takes off his shoes and walks towards the living room to see his mother, Inko Midoriya, sitting on the living room couch. Inko is a short, green-haired woman like her son and has a little weight on her body. "Mom, I'm home," Izuku announced, getting Inko's attention, so she dashed towards Izuku, giving him a hug. "Izuku, I saw the news. Are you okay? Did you get caught in the fight like Katsuki did?" she asked while checking his face, making an invisible person chuckle, making Inko flinched. "Izuku, did you hear that?" she asked. But Izuku rubbed the back of his neck. "Yeah, bring a guest. Well, a lot has happened." "Allow me, Mr. Midoriya," Kon said while deactivating his invisibility while having his arms crossed behind his back, making Inko panic. "Angel of Equality!" Inko screeched as she ran towards the couch, going for her phone. "Don't try, Mrs. Midoriya. I already jammed the signals of all phones in this area," Kon explained, making Inko glare at him. "Baby, come here," she ordered, causing Izuku to approach her as she gets in front of him like a human shield. "Why are you here, Vigilante?" Inko asked, but Izuku puts a hand on her shoulder, making Inko look over her shoulder. "It's okay, Mom. He's here to help us," he said, which got Inko's attention, while Kon bows, "I do apologize. Coming here without warning, I would take off my boots, but they are dangerous to have roaming around. Anyway, it seems we have much to talk about," he said while sitting down on the couch and pats a spot beside him, so Inko decides to listen and sits beside him while Izuku sits on the armchair of the couch. They sit in comfortable silence for a few minutes until Izuku breaks the silence. "Mom, I want to join the Unholy Angels." This shocked Inko. "Izuku, do you know what you're saying?" she asked in a panic, but also disappointment. But Kon chuckles, which got her attention. "I can't blame him after what he's been going through, being quirkless and all." "What do you mean?" Inko asked, but Kon lays back while holding his hands together. "Ms. Midoriya, do you think you live in a fair society?" Before Inko can answer, Izuku said, "I don't think so at all." This got Inko's attention. "What do you mean, sweetie?" Izuku gets up and heads to his room until he eventually returned with a flash drive in his left hand and his computer on his other hand as he sits down next to Inko as he puts his computer down. "Mom, I never wanted to tell you this, but life at school isn't good." This made Inko raise an eyebrow, but Izuku continued by inserting the USB into the computer, causing a file appearing called Izuku Suffering. Kon chuckled at the title, but Izuku shows him and explains that he bugged the whole school with spy cameras he stole when he was 8 years old, and all the camera footage and screenshots of all of Izuku's schoolwork, and tests that are clearly rigged. as it also shows the answers, making Inko's eyes widen. "Izuku, baby, why didn't you tell me about this?" she asked, with tears in her eyes, but Izuku looks down. "All my footage shows why. I try to fight back telling the teachers or the principal or the cops, you know what they did." He glares at Inko. "They all ignore me and let them get away from this. Why? Because I'm quirkless. A punching bag. A worthless person left to rot." Inko looks down, feeling sad for her son. Izuku cuts her off. "It's okay, Mom. I didn't tell you because I don't want you to worry and decide to handle things my way." Kon pats Inko's shoulder, making her turn to him. "You have a brave and smart son, and I believe he made a very wise choice." He looked at Izuku. "Izuku, would you mind if I keep it? My hackers can publish it all whenever you want, and I promise Aldera will pay for their crimes." Izuku hesitated but nods. So Kon grabs the USB and put it inside a pouch, while Inko look at Izuku in concern. "But what about friends or Katsuki?" Izuku flinched by hearing that name, which Inko and Kon notice. "Sweetie, what's wrong?" Izuku grabs his shirt and remove it, which made Inko's cover her mouth with both hands, while Kon frown and clench his fist as to what they saw. What they saw was cuts, bruises shaped like explosions, and a lot of stitches. Izuku hugs himself anxiously as Inko cries fat tears for her baby. "Oh, Izuku, what happened to you?" She caresses his body, taking a good look at his body while tears come out of Izuku's eyes, feeling guilty seeing her mother cry. "Katsuki, he tortured me for 10 years using his quirk, and my classmates joined in." This made Inko's eyes widen. "Katsuki! No, that can't be true. You're best friends. You grew up together." Izuku shakes his head. "Despite all the bullying and hell he put me through, I thought the same. I was a fool to think that then today. He told me if I wanted a quirk, I can go off myself and get one in my next life." Inko gets shocked, but it slowly turned to rage as she clenched her fist. "That boy. No wonder I haven't seen him here often, and why you two haven't hanged out." Kon stands and crosses arms. "Let me guess, he got a powerful quirk too." Izuku nods. "Yeah, he was an amazing quirk explosion that makes him have the ability to have nitroglycerin sweat from his body." Kon scoffs. "Cool, more like dangerous as hell. I can see why the bullying never stopped. They probably spoil the brat so much for his powerful quirk. They are the reason to build his ego, and probably doing it to get him into a hero school, to get the school funding for his reputation." Inko's eyes went full rage with her knuckles turned white. I won't forgive them for that. But Izuku, why didn't you go to a hospital for your injuries?" Izuku frowned. "Because once they found out I'm quirkless, they always kick me out. I decided to take care of my wounds and broken bones myself, and I didn't want to worry you because you're already stressed from work." Inko looks sad and feels powerless, but Kon smiles. "That's the problem with this world," Kon said. Which made Inko and Izuku turn to him as he continues, "The weak, like villainous quirks, mutants and quirkless are left to rot or off themselves, while the strong and corrupt, the true villains of the world, are left to victory because of their powerful quirks. That's what makes me hate this world. Your hero society is way too flawed and barely saves any innocent people. That's why I'm here, and so are the unholy angels, as we're removing that kind of discrimination and build a better world where there are no strong or weak, just people to trust, people to survive and relay on each other. You want to know why Tokyo is the safest in Japan? With a 0.2% crime and discrimination ratings, it's because if the hero society won't do anything to bring the true enemies to justice, then I will. After his little rant, he kneeled down. That's why I want not just Izuku but you too, Ms. Midoriya, to join my organization, and I will make your lives better. With your support, I will make the country, maybe the world, a safer place. Inko and Izuku look in shock, but Inko quivers with tears building from her eyes. But why? Why go through this length to help me and my boy? Kan smiles under the helmet. Because Izuku and I have one thing in common. I am quirkless and was abandoned by this very society that I take matters into my own hands. I want to guide people like us to a better life and don't suffer like I have. He offered both his gauntlet hands for a handshake for them to take. So what do you say? Would you let me a hand and let me become your true hero? Izuku nods and takes his hand as he smiles. Yes, I will. You've given me a purpose to make my dream come true, and I want to stay by your side. Kan nods and waits for Inko to shake his other hand. Well, Mrs. Midoriya. Inko stares at the hand and asks, what will happen to us if I agree? You'll be under the unholy angel's protection. Of course, I will ask of you to move to a new apartment in Tokyo, but don't worry, I own plenty of cheap apartments for you to afford. And I also read your profile on the way here. I will give you a job offering at the Tokyo hospital with better payment, and the staff are friendly to everyone. Inko stares at the hand and nods as she takes his free hand. Then please take care of us, Lord Angel.